Planet Coaster 2, the latest theme park simulator published by Frontier Developments. Will this game be legendary, like the fabled Roller Coaster Tycoon 2? Or will it be another cash grab in a long list of mediocre simulators like Theme Park World? Let's get into it. I'll be honest, I've not played the original Planet Coaster. I didn't even know it existed till earlier this year when I saw the trailer for Planet Coaster 2, so I had no idea what to expect going into the experience. Other than the Jurassic World Evolution games, I've not played a theme park simulator properly since Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, so it's been a while to say the least. Now, I imagine fans of the original Planet Coaster will feel right at home playing this game, and if you're new to the genre like myself, Planet Coaster 2 does a decent job of introducing you to the very basics of running a theme park and building prefab rides throughout the campaign. However, it's not exactly the most intuitive experience. There are literally thousands of options within the menus, and the game often expects you to know exactly what you're doing without showing you how. For example, one of my first big headaches in the career mode was trying to place a lifeguard for the pool. Sounds simple, right? Well, I must have placed a good 20 lifeguards around my pool, but the game kept telling me there was no lifeguard nearby. I was baffled. I had all the lifeguards scattered everywhere, but it just wasn't working. So after a while, and a quick Google, I finally realised that I was missing a lifeguard chair. So I started searching the menus for the chair, and that in itself turned into a massive frustrating hunt. It's just one of those moments where the game doesn't explain that you need the chairs for the lifeguards to actually function, and you end up wasting time trying to figure out what you missed. This is where the game's approach for new players can be a bit of a letdown. There's plenty of moments where the game doesn't hold your hand enough, and with no tutorials you end up having to Google or YouTube how to do basic things. And whilst Planet Coaster 2 gives you plenty of customization options, it often assumes that you already know the basics of how to manage the park, its staff, as well as the building and fixing of coasters. The learning curve can be steep, especially with all of the complex systems at play, but that doesn't mean this is a bad game. Far from it. Once things start to click and you actually learn the basics, then you truly appreciate how much depth this game has. What I recommend, if like me you're a noob when it comes to theme park simulators, is play through the career mode on the easy setting, as increasing the difficulty simply makes the park management side, such as managing funds and resources, much more difficult, which just isn't needed when you're struggling to navigate through thousands of options. The game also has a sandbox and a franchise mode, which is the main reason myself and probably many others bought this game. The sandbox mode currently has 4 maps to choose from, each with a different biome, and this mode gives complete creative freedom to the player. You can choose what park management settings you want active, or if you're like me, you just want to be able to build unrestricted, you can just simply turn off all of the park management options and then activate them as and when you feel like you want the extra challenge, or once you've completed your park build. Now, when you first load into your sandbox map, you're probably going to be overwhelmed with all of the options. All I can say is take your time, get used to the game first, use the prefab rides and the buildings, and just have fun. Put it this way, both me and my mate played the game for the same amount of time. By the time we'd finished playing, I managed to build an unfinished monorail with 4 platforms, only one of which had a building created around it. I had the perimeter of a potential car park laid out and the start of a park entrance, as I was trying to go for that realistic approach and ended up just getting overwhelmed and spent a lot of my time just looking through literally thousands of options. Meanwhile, my mate was just using the prefab features. He'd managed to set up his park entrance, a hotel and shop section, which then led into a small water park with swimming pools and water slides. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, whether you're the type of player that's super meticulous and wants every detail to be planned out and unique, or someone who simply wants to build without being mentally drained, Planet Coaster 2 offers both ways of playing. What I'd recommend is start your builds with the prefabs to build the foundations of your first park, then once you're used to everything, explore more of the custom building options to make your parks feel more personal and unique, developing new building skills over time. What I will say though is either way of playing, don't just expect to load up a map and have a park built in an hour or 2. This game requires time, and trust me, it'll fly by rapid as whilst you're playing this game. It's just one of those games where you're like, oh, I'll add this, oh, I'll just add that, and before you know it, 3 hours have gone by. Now, like I said earlier, this game also has a franchise mode, where players can work together to build a park. This was actually one of the reasons I pre-ordered the game in the first place. I mean, building a theme park from scratch with a mate just sounds awesome. Well, I should have done more research, so I know it's my fault for not doing so, but the co-op mode is not a proper co-op mode in my opinion. You can build a park with a mate, but only one player at a time, meaning you can't actually play together. One of you builds a park, and when you're offline, your friend can log on and build in that park. But if you log back on, you can't then build in that park until your friend logs off. I mean, what sort of bullshit co-op is that? It's definitely the biggest letdown in the game for me, as I wouldn't exactly call it a cooperative experience. But yeah, what you can do in franchise mode is you can also visit other players' parks built, which is cool for gaining new inspiration and seeing cool park designs, but man, what a letdown not being able to build at the same time. Okay, swiftly moving on to the graphics. Planet Coaster 2 delivers solid overall visuals, but I found some adjustments are needed when you first start the game. As I was playing, I felt like something was off about the graphics, but I found going into the settings, putting motion blur into contextual and turning off the depth of vision setting really sharpens the details and the graphics within the game. Overall, Planet Coaster 2 is great at creating a realistic setting. The ride animations are fluid and well executed, the textures, lighting and weather are all on point and enhanced by the sound design and music, so you're truly immersed into the world. So, is this game worth your money, and more importantly, your time? Well, if you enjoy theme park simulators or base building games, this is a must buy. It doesn't matter if you've not played one since Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, you're gonna have a good time playing this game. Sure, it's got a steep learning curve, but that's what we have YouTube for. And yeah, there's literally thousands of options, but that's going to allow you to create and showcase your own really unique builds. However, if you find park simulator games or base building games too slow, and you prefer more intense, fast-paced games, this probably isn't going to be the game for you. Well, until next time peeps, stay frosty.